I am going to start with the song from the small tiny island called Cabo Verde, and it's about the love for the homeland. It's called Beijo de Saudade. Onda sagrada és tu beijo, beijo de beijar nas suas águas, beijo de dar-te um beijo de mágoa, um beijo de saudade, para levar ao mar e o mar a minha terra, para levar ao mar e o mar a minha terra, minha terra aquela pequeninha, é Cabo Verde que é de meu. Terra que não perce menino, é filho do oceano, é filho do céu, terra de minha mãe, terra que minha cresceu. As suas ondas cristalinas, beijo de dar-te um beijo, nas suas ondas de menina, beijo de dar-te um beijo, um beijo de mágoa, um beijo de saudade, para levar ao mar e o mar a minha terra, para levar ao mar e o mar a minha terra. As tuas ondas cristalinas, beijo de dar-te um beijo, nas suas ondas de menina, beijo de dar-te um beijo, um beijo de mágoa, um beijo de saudade, para levar ao mar e o mar a minha terra, para levar ao mar e o mar a minha terra, para levar ao mar e o mar a minha terra. Thank you.
What a beautiful way to start the service. Thank you, Irene. Well, good morning again, everybody. Welcome to our Sunday service with Unity Center DC. I'm John Bell, and I'll be your platform assistant on this beautiful May morning. The inimitable Roy Berkowitz is with us today to deliver the message. And our talented friend, Irene Jalenti, will be our special musician, as you can see. We're very fortunate because we have a wonderful selection of talent here today for you. Because Roy's going to talk today about being immediate and in the space that you are, I think, I found a lovely little poem that I think I'd like to use as our opening prayer. It's called The Orange by Wendy Cope. At lunchtime, I bought a huge orange. The size of it made us all laugh. I peeled it and shared it with Robert and Dave. They got quarters and I had a half. And that orange, it made me so happy, as ordinary things often do, just lately. The shopping, a walk in the park. This is peace and contentment. It's new. The rest of the day was quite easy. I did all the jobs on my list and enjoyed them and had some time left over. I love you. I'm glad I exist. Amen.
Lying in my bed, I hear the clock tick and think of you. Caught up in circles, confusion is nothing new. Flashback, warm night, almost left behind. Suitcase of memories, time after. Sometimes you picture me, I'm walking too far ahead. You're calling to me and I can't hear what you say. Then you say, go slow, I fall behind. The second hand unwinds. If you're lost, you can look and you will find me. Time after time. If you fall, I will catch you and I'll be waiting. Time after time. If you're lost, you can look and you will find me. Time after time. If you fall, I will catch you and I'll be waiting. Time after time. Time after time. After my picture fades and darkness has turned to gray, you're watching through a window. You're wondering if I'm okay. Secrets stolen from deep inside, the drum beats out of time. If you're lost, you can look and you will find me. Time after time. If you fall, I will catch you and I'll be waiting. Time after time. If you fall, I will catch you and then I'll be waiting. Time after time. If you're lost, I will find you. Time after time. Then you say, go slow, I fall behind. The second hand unwinds. If you're lost, you can look and you will find me. Time after time. If you're lost, I will catch you and I'll find you. Time after time. If you fall, I will catch you. Time after time. And if you're lost, I'll find you. Time after time. Time after time, I'll find you. And whenever you feel lost, I'll be there for you. Time after time. Time after time. Time Thank you.
Hi, friends. You know, it's been such a challenging time in the world, and in particular for so many people I love. Very intense, unusual, scary things. I think our collective resilience has gotten so low. The ups and the downs of the past few years have become exhausting. I mean, how much can a spirit, a body, an immune system take? I don't know about you, but I've had to be careful because at times I've started to see life with very darkened glasses. And of course, everything gets seen through those lenses, and the perspective from that tomb can become my kingdom. But it's not a kingdom I rule. Rick Hansen says, from moment to moment, the flows of thoughts and feelings, sensations and desires, and conscious and unconscious processes sculpt your nervous system like water gradually carving furrows and eventually gullies on a hillside. Your brain is continually changing its structure. The only question is it for better or worse? For as we know in Unity, whatever we hold in attention has a special power to change our brain. He says, attention is like a combination spotlight and vacuum cleaner. It illuminates what it rests upon, then sucks it into your brain. Okay, last time I spoke, I talked about seeing things with a perspective through a straw, from the bottom of a well, a view as we enter the tunnel, narrowing our vision to very defined and limited boundaries. So we have tunnel vision. And when that happens, our kingdoms get small. Attention is like a spotlight, illuminating what it rests upon. In Unity, we say, where my attention goes, the energy flows. And in Qigong, we say, where the mind goes, Qi follows. Which means, if I'm in my world of sadness, despair, pain, it's really so easy to miss moments that hold a gift. One that might be right here, might be a huge one that would be obvious on brighter days, or it might be a tiny gift, a glimmer, but still. Never underestimate the big importance of small things that remind us, inspire us, expand our vision, resurrect us, even if only for a moment. Becoming more able to place attention where we want it and more able to pull it away from what's bothersome or pointless, such as looping again and again through anxious preoccupations, mental grumbling, or self-criticism. Hansen says that's the foundation of changing our brain and thus our lives for the better, pulling it away from what's bothersome. But if our attention is directed by this straw, so we are looping again and again through anxious preoccupations, mental grumbling, self-criticism, we're limited in our ability to recognize a gift, to change our life, or at least to alter that moment for the better. Last November, I was feeling pretty low about a few things, and I had to go in to get my eyeglasses fixed. Now, how about that for a metaphor, right? I wasn't seeing clearly, and I did need to get my eyeglasses fixed. So I walked in, very nice. I said, yes, hi. And he said, well, if you come in next week, you'd have missed me. I'd be out for 7 weeks. I said, oh. And he said, can you guess where I'm going? And I'm thinking, I don't care, just fix my glasses. Another Ununity moment shared with you. And then he says, I'm Santa Claus, been doing it for 20 years. And he did look like Santa Claus. Then he shared some information. He's the American representative to the International Santa Claus Convention in Denmark. He said American Santas are mostly required to have real beards, while in Europe they still wear some fake beards, some costing $5,000, the ones made out of yak fur. I'd be blowing my nose if I was Santa Claus over there all the time with my allergy. So at some point, I decided to engage his invitation, to accept his invitation, to let his energy in. I let his energy in. I started to ask questions. I found out he doesn't let any of the elves know that his real name is Doug. In case something goes wrong, he doesn't want them yelling, "Hey, Doug, the computer cracked out." Or, "Hey, Doug, Silver Bells is in the back smoking. Should I drag his elf ass back in here?" He cared about the spell he cast on children. Well, he cast a spell on me. I left the store feeling energized, and I realized what had happened. Actually, I chose to make a specific meaning out of what happened. I chose to make a specific meaning out of what happened. I chose to believe that the universe sent me Santa Claus, pretty literally. And that initially my depression, my attitude was keeping that gift out. It was only because he kept on trying to engage me that I let him in. And when I did, something shifted. So I got my eyeglasses adjusted and my perspective, and thus the focus of my talk today. Today, I want to celebrate the spiritual truth that the answer or gifts are available to us when we see with clear vision. It's the season of resurrection, and resurrections happen in different ways. And this is really important to me, I have to remember it happens over and over again in my life. I need to remember that during these days, that it happens when I shift from ego's perspective to that of spirit's, even if it's only for a moment, and my thoughts go back to feeding ego. I need to resurrect over and over. See, when I look back on my life, I realize that what I needed has been there for me when I've needed it. Not that it resolved or took the situation or circumstance away. Not that I didn't go back on the cross at some point. But something or someone was always there to help me view it with new eyes. I was thinking of the song Irene just sang. Someone was there to help me see with less despair, more strength, and more resilience. Of course, I hadn't always known that in the moment when I'm wearing my glasses of fear, when I'm seeing through tinted lenses of anxiety or doubt, and unwilling to remove my shroud of sadness that so tightly woven by my thoughts and which keep me in tune by ego. Ah, my thoughts. As a friend who went to Unity once said, sometimes I have thoughts. That's not the problem, but sometimes I believe them. Observing our thoughts and modifying, interrupting them to seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, that opens us up to experiencing miracles. That is the miracle as a change of perception, a correction of how we perceive or think. A Course in Miracles. For we can choose a perception that leads us to resurrection, one that gives us strength and serenity, helps us respond to ourselves and to each other with love and kindness. That is, being co-creators with Source. Or we can choose a perception that leads to crucifixion, separation from Source. We have a choice. How often do we talk about choice here? Perception rests on choosing. And guess what? Fear distorts perception. So our perceptions are not the truth. Where did I learn they were? Well, in my family, it's a tradition. Worry is a tradition. And what is the tradition? It's peer pressure from dead people. When I am interrupting my current life from inside, when I'm interpreting my current life from inside that world, which was created long ago, I suffer, I hurt, I am removed from my divinity, and I'm removed from all these beautiful faces and souls that I'm seeing on my screen. I receive corrections all the time and reminder of Spirit's presence in the midst of difficult times, reminders of ways to reconnect once I've separated myself. You'd think by now I'd have learned that every thought becomes a prayer. But these times are challenging and those grooves in my brain are deep, those patterns deeply wired. Not to worry, neuroplasticity means we can change those patterns that are in our brain, for it has an ability to modify and change and adapt to new neural connections in response to experience. Oh, and it takes ongoing practice. That's why I've been coming to Unity for 32 years, still practicing. But like a path in the countryside, where originally there was no path, a way appears as people walk in the same spot again and again. So yes, I keep practicing. I bet a lot of you keep practicing and create new grooves that are deepening. So let's talk about a moment that offered a gift, a moment I thought of in writing this, a chance to deepen those grooves and to shift from ego's perception to that of spirit, and thus a gateway to a miracle. Join me at 7-Eleven. It's 1990, South Arlington, Virginia. I'm 40 years old. Must need new batteries. Anyway, I'm very depressed from a recent split and a job I hated. I've recently discovered that coffee was a mood enhancer. So I'm stopping off at 7-Eleven to get coffee before work. And there'd always be this friendly guy at the coffee area chatting and smiling, great mood, hanging out. I avoid him. He's weird. And I mean, it's 7 a.m. and I am not in the mood. Every day I go in for coffee and every day I have a choice not to engage with him or to engage. Do you choose door number one with despair and suffering behind it, or door number two with perhaps something else behind it? I chose door number one over and over. Well, I went to Unity one Sunday, where I heard if you keep on doing the same thing, you can expect the same result. I think it was Amalia. Simple and profound. I find a lot of the things I hear here are so simple and profound. So I thought, is it possible I'm missing an opportunity? I decided that on Monday, I would try door number two. I would make a conscious choice to at least jiggle the handle, no guarantee. So I went to 7-Eleven. I went earlier, specifically to talk with him, to be around his energy, to let myself be around joy for a while without figuring it out, without looking at its motivation or judging it. So I chat with him, kind of pleasant, and I'm focused on something other than my world of sadness, which becomes more distant. He's kind of delightful, sweet, not nuts or a lot of work. And when I leave, I'm feeling lighter and powerful for making a choice to do something different, for choosing a new door, for not missing an opportunity, for allowing myself to be interrupted by God. And you know what? Even if it turned out to be work, engaging with this guy, I had made a different choice. I chose again. And I think there's such power in that, even if it doesn't have the desired outcome. For us to be reminded we have some control at a time we might feel powerless, I think is pretty profound. So I leave 7-Eleven with my new set of eyes, with my new perspective, and my coffee. There's a Senegalese proverb that tells us the opportunity that God sends us did not wake up one who is asleep. My lens of depression had been so thick, and it took me weeks to see what was a possible gift at 7-Eleven. At our times of greatest need, when we're in tune with feelings, we might not see the gifts that are being offered to us. When we're sad, angry, anxious, depressed, we are indeed asleep and may not see the promptings of spirit. It's at those times I need to allow to open our visions and allow ourselves to be interrupted by God. Allow ourselves. For as someone said, we wait for God to bless us while God waits for us to accept the blessing. During these challenging times, we may need to ask ourselves, what is being provided right now that I'm not seeing? That question has been really helpful to me these days. If we're so focused on our pain, on pain of people we love, and asking Spirit to take away that pain, we might not notice that Spirit has filled it with its presence, has provided a reminder to us of its presence. Because if we're busy going about our business of being sad, angry, our business of being right, and wrapping our feelings around us like a straitjacket, how can we see the gift in front of us? Again, Rick Hansen. The bottom line in terms of how we feel, are we happy, are we sad, are we effective, are we lost in stress? How we are is fundamentally the result of what's happening in the 3 pounds of tofu between our ears. When we let that 3 pounds of tofu rule our kingdom, when we are hijacked by our fear, our hurt, our shame, our anger, Tara Brach reminds us, our world gets smaller. And the more we lose contact with our heart, with our empathy, compassion, the more that creates separation, for we forget our connection to something larger indeed, like spirit, like community. So, at your times of greatest need, what has been provided that you might not have seen? Perhaps in your life now, what is there you're not letting in to help you heal, to soothe, to calm, to thrive? What blessing are you not accepting that may bring you some joy or some relief? A gift of light that may help you in the darkness. There's a story, we've heard it in Unity, about an old man and his son. And they live in a rural area. And one day the son, he's around 30 years old, gets sick, and he gets sicker and sicker. And there's no doctor around, and there's no hospital around. And the old man prays to God, please take care of him. This is my son. I love him. Please. And the old man believes that he gets word from God that all will be well, that it will be taken care of. Well, that night, there's a knock on the door, and a stranger is lost and asks where the village is, and the old man directs him to the village. And then the stranger hears a voice from upstairs that's in pain, and he asks, is everything okay? And he goes, my son is very sick. And the man says, I'm a doctor, can I help? And the old man says, oh, no, it's taken care of, thank you so much. He'll be fine. And the visitor goes on his way. The next morning, the old guy wakes up. His son is dead. And he rails at God. The old man rails at God. How could you? You said you would take care of this. What was that? And God says, you fool, I sent you a doctor. So I know that's a Yiddish accent. Of course, we know that God's not a person in unity. But you get the point of the story. Gifts are not always wrapped the way we want them. Delivered the way we've decided is best. We have a preconception of what the miracle is supposed to look like, says Irene in Love Without Conditions. No, God, that's not the gift. That's not the one I meant. Let me help you with this. I know you're busy. My miracle isn't a doctor, not Santa Claus, certainly not a guy at 7-Eleven. It's more like this. Are you still there, God? Joel Goldsmith says, instead of letting God speak to them, too many people speak to God. Tell, ask, direct, even command. Our rigid minds know better, and that which differs in any way may not be acceptable, may not be viewed as a gift. You call this a gift? Or, yes, I know you parted the Red Sea so we could walk through, but I wanted you to fly us over. Or, you didn't take away my pain. I want you to take away my pain and this is how I want you to do it. Well, maybe Source has filled it with its presence, but how can we experience that if all we focus on is our narrow expectations of what we asked for, how we want it, when we want it, and what it should look like? Perhaps I need to align myself with Source instead of Source aligning with me. The miracle we ask for may not free us from fear, says the Course. The miracle we ask for may keep us slaves. The Course asks one of the most powerful spiritual and practical questions I've read. Will you help me see what's happening now in another way? What I've started asking is, what miracle am I not seeing right now? What gift is present that I am blind to? A gift that would help me, as Karen Gray said in her message last month, a gift that would help me be with what is. Let it be. Then affirm I am open and receptive to the gifts of this moment. Open and receptive, not always easy for us to be. Depends on which station I'm listening to up here, which voice we've tuned into, and how high the volume is turned up. The voices are strong. The devil, the angel, the wicked witch, Golinda. Those voices, Ethel Merman, Mary Martin, Lucy, Charlie Brown. Lucy says, the problem with you, Charlie Brown, is that you're you. So what do I do about it? I don't pretend to know. I just point out the problem. So many of us have that Lucy voice, yes? And at times it's thunderous. Well, just say no to Lucy, change the channel in your mind to WGOD, no commercials, just you, fabulous you, WGOD, helping you sparkle 24 divine hours a day. By changing the station, by changing our minds, says A Course in Miracles, we have changed the most powerful device that was ever given us for change. So, at the beginning, I asked, how much can a body or spirit take? We have inner resources, even in the midst of traumatic times. Connecting to the resiliency of the human spirit helps us to sustain our effort. Others help us to sustain our effort. But even if it's as simple as being with this breath, with this thought too. This thought I do not want, I choose instead. The resurrected Jesus, writes Kelly Brown Douglas, resurrected his disciples by inviting them away from the despair of death, that was the cross, into the hope of new life, that was the resurrection. The hope of new life. For me, in creating this talk, what's been helpful is new life. For me, that's choosing to notice a glimmer, choosing to see something as a gift. New thought equals new life. Even if I'm back in the tomb or on the cross later on. So this summer, I hope you allow yourself to see Santa Claus. Whether you're getting your eyeglasses fixed, getting it readjusted, whether you're getting your coffee at 7-Eleven, touch heaven for a moment. And then go back to your day as a miracle worker. Blessings, my sweet friends. Time to go within, to sit or lie comfortably, eyes shut or half closed, and let yourself feel supported by the seat or the floor. Feel that support. You need do nothing but just breathe. And as you breathe, notice your breath. No need to change the depth or pace of your breath unless you're moved to. Notice the thoughts that enter your mind. Just observe them. and let them come and go. No need to attach, no need to figure anything out. No need to judge which are good or which are bad. Just let them flow, gently moving like clouds. Our thoughts are prayers, so we know we are always praying. And so we take charge of what we're saying and what we're thinking. We seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness. We know that God is always there. And so I know that I can be with what is. And I know if I retreat into fear, I just remember I am open and receptive to the gifts that present themselves at this moment. I am open and receptive, for God is always there. And now, in the silence, I become open and receptive to the gifts of this moment. And again, I notice my breath and thoughts. Let them gently guide you back to your space. As you open your eyes and are greeted by whatever you see. We know that there will be many more gifts waiting for us in this day. And that we will welcome them all. And so it is.
When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And when the brokenhearted in this world are feeling lost, let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. And when the broken-hearted people living in the world agree, there will be an answer, let it be. For those that may be parted, there is still a chance that they will see, and there will be an answer, let it be, 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 'cause there will be an answer, let it be. is cloudy, there is still a light that shines on me. Shine until tomorrow, let it be. I wake up to the sound of music. Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom. Let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Whisper words of wisdom. Let it be. Oh, let it be. Let it be. 'Cause there will be an answer. Let it be. Let it be. Whisper words of wisdom. Let it be. Let it be. Let it be. 'Cause there will be an answer. Let it be. Let it be.
If you'll all join me now in a closing prayer, I've chosen something by Rumi that I thought was appropriate for today. I hope you do too. This is called A Moment of Happiness. A moment of happiness. You and I sitting on the veranda, apparently two, but one in soul, you and I. We feel the flowing water of life here, you and I, with the garden's beauty and the birds singing. The stars will be watching us, and we will show them what it is to be a thin crescent moon. You and I, unselfed, will be together, indifferent to idle speculation, you and I. The parrots of heaven will be cracking sugar as we laugh together, you and I, in one form upon this earth, and in another form in a timeless, sweet land. Amen.
We are so blessed here at Unity Center DC for extraordinary speakers, talented musicians who share with us each week their God gift, their message, their inspiration. And for us as recipients, I'd like you to take this moment and be grateful. If you want to express your gratitude by giving a gift to Unity Center DC, it's possible. We'll put up on the screen the options, but you can give online, you can mail a cash or a check to the address you'll see on the screen, so that we can continue this ministry, which has blessed us all. Thank you.